Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about my top 10 gangster movies from worst to best. So, I'm going to start with number 10, and that is The Drop, with Tom Hardy and James Gandolfini. This is a very low-key gangster movie. It's more about what gangsters can do to a city and the implications, what it causes to the regular folk, the small-time folk, not the big bosses. Yeah, so the mafia are picking up and dropping off at this bar in Brooklyn, and Gandolfini is phenomenal in this role. James Gandolfini, to me, was born to be a gangster. Like, you can see why he's slightly typecast in the short career that he had. He was a phenomenal actor, and I believe that if he was still here today, he would have made even more movies like this, and I could just take him in that sort of performance every day of the week. And he works well with Tom Hardy in this film, so I'm just going to put that one there. Now, at number 9, I have got Innocent Blood, the John Landis classic. Now, this is a vampire movie, however, it heavily relies on gangsters to forward the plot. We've got Robert Loggia as the gangster boss who is bitten, and this film is just a roller coaster ride of stupidity, fun, horror, and just have fun with it. You know, it's not meant to be taken seriously. It's a vampire movie, but ultimately it's a comedy vampire movie, a little bit like American Werewolf in London was. This takes it and pushes it to new levels. And for a gangster-based movie, rewatchability, I like it, so I'm just going to put it there. Okay, at number 8, I have got Mel Gibson in Payback. This is a very dark noir, very bleached of colour. However, the story is great. Mel Gibson is left for dead, and he doesn't die, and he just wants his share of the money. That's all he wants, and he wants payback for what he's had to go through and endure. But it's done with class, it's done with style, and it's a timeless classic, and I love rewatching it. Mel Gibson is great in this role. It's beautifully directed, and I believe it'll stand the test of time. So I'm just going to put Payback here. Next is one I've talked about before, and it's Mad Dog and Glory. This is Robert De Niro and Bill Murray and Uma Thurman at their indie best. This is like a sleeper hit for me. This is one of those films where you feel like you're taken into a new world, but it's not a Hollywood showbiz, it's different. De Niro plays a very different, a very meek, weak police officer that is trying to protect Uma Thurman, and Bill Murray plays this charming yet disturbing gangster mobster boss that is obsessed with helping Robert De Niro. He just wants to be his friend, and they both need to learn from each other, and I just love this film. And in amongst the mix is Uma Thurman doing her thing, stealing the hearts of both of these men. And we're taking on an emotional journey of good versus evil. And I'm just going to put that one there. Okay, now we're getting into the real gangster movies, and I'm going to go with at number 6. I'm going to go Donnie Brasco. Johnny Depp plays Donnie Brasco, an undercover detective who is trying to fish out the head honchos, and he befriends Al Pacino's character. He doesn't know that he's an undercover police officer, and he witnesses and takes part in some horrific undercover murders that he would give the game away if he didn't. And this undercover story goes a little bit too deep. He befriends the gangsters in this film, and he can't help it. He becomes one of them. He almost loses his wife, his kids, because he gets in over his head. He takes part in some horrific murders that if he didn't, he would be dead as well. Like, he has to follow through, and it's that aspect of the world of gangsters and the police that is portrayed so wonderfully. Pacino is great in this film. He's frightening when he threatens Donnie Brasco indirectly in the car, and you can hear the creaking of the leather jacket. Wonderful. The audio in this scene is superb. So I am going to put Donnie Brasco there. At number 5, we've got Casino. This is superb. Like, it is really good, considering we'd already had Goodfellas. Casino is not a bad gangster movie. Sharon Stone plays the using bitch of a wife, and she is the fundamental glue to this movie. Because of her bad character, we get taken on this journey of De Niro and Joe Pesci becoming rivals, even though they're friends. There's a jealousy there, and his wife plays a massive part. So Sharon Stone's character plays a massive part of that. All she wants is money. She doesn't give a fuck who she's with, and the rest of it is fucking Oscar winning stuff. It is just gorgeous to watch. So I'm going to put Casino there. Next for me is, I watch this regularly, and it's Carlito's Way. I've talked about this one before, but I don't mind talking about this one from the get-go. This is magic for the eyes, and the reason for this is the direction and the casting choices. Al Pacino plays Carlito Brigante, a reformed gangster who's trying to do good and make good of his life. He's learned his lessons, and God, it's just an amazing experience to watch. The soundtrack alone is enough for me to watch this. I would watch this without even watching it. I would just listen to it because it's acted so beautifully. You listen to the emotion that is conveyed from everybody who's in this film. Sean Penn's character is in over his head as the lawyer who's hooked on cocaine and believes he's king of the world and can do whatever he wants. And Pacino can see how twisted he is becoming because of it, the greed. And ultimately, this is what leads to Carlito's death, is Sean Penn's character commits a murder that Carlito is not wanting to be a part of. It was not part of the terms of the deal, and like, just from then on, wow, like the twists, the turns that you are taken on in this film are epic, and you never get tired of watching it. Well, I don't, so I'm just going to put that on there. Next, we've got Goodfellas. This is true cinematic gold.
Everybody had their hands.
You don't want this film to end. You don't see
now it's all over.
The bad of the gangsters when you're taken from their perspective. Yes, there's some cruel things that happen. Again, Joe Pesci's character is fucking evil in this movie. If he doesn't like you, if he likes you, he's great, he's your best friend. But if he doesn't like you, he does not give a fuck. And it's not just him who's great in it. Ray Liotta's brilliant in it. Everybody's brilliant in it. You feel, even though that this is a crime drama, that you're in some sort of family. You feel connected when you watch this. You feel like you've just become one of them. You sat there with them around the table doing the bad things that they do because they're criminals. But because everybody has a point of view and a side, they might not be criminals all the time. They might have good sides, but these guys, they're all stabbing each other in the back because they're all afraid of each other. They're all in over the head, even the head. The big dons, they're all in over their head. And that's the beauty of Goodfellas. Prison doesn't seem to matter in Goodfellas people will do a stint in jail, they don't care. You know, they're so looked after, it's just gorgeous to watch. Which leads me to Scarface. Al Pacino again plays the phenomenal gangster that is Tony Montana. Right from the get-go, we see that this guy is determined to get every single bit of power that he can get. He starts from nothing. However, everything he touches, he destroys. Whether it be his partner, his sister, his friend, his bosses. His arrogance and ego is what carries this film. He is a train wreck waiting to be destroyed, and ultimately that is what happens to him. What goes up must come down, and he suffers from this with the most painful death that you can imagine. And it's epic, and it's timeless, and I'll watch this till the day I die. I know it. Because it's beautifully acted. And I'm just going to leave that one there. So for me, my number one gangster movie is Pulp Fiction. And it's because it feels real. Even the stupidity parts feel real. With a stellar cast and direction. This is definitely my favourite Quentin Tarantino movie by far, and definitely my favourite gangster movie. It's because we feel we're part of the drama. What Tarantino does with his cast and for his cast is gives them a world that we can really sink our teeth into. Give us characters that we can really believe in and really root for and care for. So, because I've talked about Pulp Fiction before, I'm not going to go too much into it, but like from start to finish, in the incoherent mess of what Pulp Fiction is, there is a masterpiece sat there waiting for you to explore it. Is it dark and gritty? Yep. Does it tackle some awful scenes of drug overdosing and things that might trigger people and upset people? Yeah, it does. It does, because people really do this. Maybe to not this level, and maybe with not the quippy dialogue, but people really live like this. And people are sick, people are twisted, but people also have feelings and emotions, and we get all of these with Pulp Fiction. And we get a killer soundtrack. What more can you want? It's Tarantino at his best. So that is all of my top 10 gangster films that I like to watch for rewatchability. So I'm just going to leave that one there.
Turn on the AC. It's Angel Caruso.